For the two questions, Mahasi Sayadaw gave answers very completely. Number one question, what are the two obstacles to potential attainment? Number two question, which alone can cover all the holy teaching or all teaching of the Buddha? Even during the lifetime of the Buddha, there were people who could not attain enlightenment, although they got chance to learn directly from the Buddha. In this regard, there are two obstacles to one's potential attainment, even in the presence of the Buddha. Failure to do what one should do. Association with a bad companion. On one occasion, the Buddha was seated amid the congregation of monks. When there came Kandaraka, a wandering ascetic in Pisa, a lay follower. Then Kandaraka felt impressed by the monks who were sitting quiet and calm without making any noise and motion. Well, how well disciplined the monks are under the guidance of the great teacher. He told the Buddha about it. Whereupon the Buddha said that what Kandaraka said was true. Monks were well disciplined. Some of them were arhats who developed mindfulness in food. Some were non-returner anagami who developed mindfulness in 3 quarters. Some were once returners sagaragami who developed mindfulness in half. Some were trained in Taras Sotapanna who developed mindfulness in 1 quarter. And some were still ordinary, but on the same path as those noble ones. When people develop mindfulness by doing no action without mindfulness, they naturally become quiet and calm. They don't make any move without mindfulness. And therefore, their daily activities like bending or stretching their limbs get slowed down in nature. That is why they become quiet, gentle, and calm. And when they are willing to speak, they fast note, willing to speak. Noting so the willingness itself may disappear if there is nothing important. So they only speak something necessary, but not anything unnecessary. Thus they become quiet, gender in come. As mentioned earlier, the Buddha said that monks in this congregation were enlightened ones, in at least meditators dedicated to mindfulness. Then the layman Bisa, the elephant driver's son, said, Venerable Sir, it is very good of you to teach people to be upright and honest. Animals are not deceptive or cunning. They are artless. They are so open that without thinking twice, anywhere, anytime they want, they have no intention to cheat their masters. If they are forced to do something against their will, they make a mess of it. Unlike animals, men are crafty and hypocritical. They do one thing in public, but another in private. They pretend to do something beneficial to others in their presence, but often do harmful in their absence. Sir, we cannot help admiring you for your wonderful teachings, because you have reformed the minds of such cunning people. I too practice mindfulness occasionally, although I am a layman. True mindfulness helps improve our moral character. Men not aware of their immoral thoughts are more likely to become dishonest and deceptive. The more mindful we are of our thoughts, the more honest we will become indeed. The Buddha was then about to give a Dhamma talk on the 4 types of personality, but Bisa took leave of the Buddha, saying that he had some business to attend to. Then the Buddha let him leave because it would not much benefit him to listen to the sermon half-heartedly. After his departure, the Buddha told the monks that Bisa was an intelligent man, in that he could attain the first stage of enlightenment, Sotapatti Magga, if he listened to the sermon in full. In this connection, the commentary raises the question of whether a man with the potential for enlightenment could possibly fail to attain it even in the presence of the Buddha. The commentary insists on the possibility and mentions 2 reasons why one can miss the chance for attainment: failure to do what one should do, association with a bad companion. The failure to do what one should do is related to two conditions, namely the negligence on the part of the teacher and the negligence on the part of the disciple. It is negligent of a teacher if he does not make his sermons comprehensive enough for his disciples to put it into practice until the attainment of Megaphala enlightenment and Nirvana. In some cases, people don't even have access to a qualified teacher, though they wish to practice, so they grow old and die without getting a chance to practice the Dhamma, let alone to experience its taste. This is about the negligence on the teacher's part. As a teacher, therefore, I try my best to be dutiful by delivering comprehensive talks on how to practice. It is negligent of a disciple if you fail to listen to a sermon in full or fail to put it into practice afterward, or even when you practice, you fail to continue until you accomplish it. As mentioned earlier, Pisa lost the great opportunity to be a straight and thorough Sotapanna, even though he had potential, just because he failed to listen to the Buddha's sermon in full. That is why I would like to encourage you to listen this Dhamma talk to the end. Another obstacle to the enlightenment is Papamita, which literally means the association with an evil friend. If you think it sounds politically incorrect, you can tone it down to a bad friend. As an example of the consequences of association with a bad friend, the commentaries cite the story of King Ajata Sadhu. He actually had the spiritual potential to attain the first stage of enlightenment, Sotapatti Magga, by listening to the Buddha's sermon called Samanya Phala Sutta. But he could not make it because he had assassinated his father King Bimbisara by following the advice of Devadatta, an evil friend, whom he regarded as his teacher. There are many other instances in which the association with bad people forms an obstacle to the enlightenment. Even in the time of the Buddha, some people did not get enlightened despite their spiritual potential because they followed false teachers. This holds true also for many misguided people today. So, as mentioned earlier, there are two obstacles to enlightenment. Number one, failure to do what one should do. Number two, association with a bad companion. In order to avoid the first obstacle, you are expected to listen to a sermon and book. Number two question, what alone can cover all the holy teachings? In Awasa means a residence or abode. Hence, Riyawasa means the abode of noble ones. All the Buddhas and noble ones in the past had been committed to this Riyawasa, and so too will the future Buddhas and disciples. So and so too our Gautama Buddha and his disciples in the current holy order. So Riyawasa refers to important quality required to become a noble one. In other words, each and every noble one dwells in Riyawasa, which is well guarded from the danger of torturous cycle of birth and death, samsara. So the abode of noble ones provides us refuge from all kinds of potential danger in samsara. To help us attain such super refuge, the Buddha delivered this sermon. So I am here to deliver this sermon on behalf of the Buddha. Keeping it in mind, please listen to this talk carefully. The first one you need to implement is the development of mindfulness, a single God as described in the verse. Be mindful of whatever manifested. Be thus guarded by mindfulness. In the world, for example, very important people like worthy businessmen in high rank officials have security guards in their houses, especially kings with absolute power keep many bodyguards around them at all times. As for national security, the much greater number of security guards are deployed all around the country. In the same way, you need to be guarded at all times so that no mental enemy can invade your mind. For this purpose, All you need to do is just to be mindful of phenomena manifested at the sixth sense door by noting all your sensory reactions such as seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking accordingly. Here, touching can be experienced on every part of the body or at every time you make a move. And thinking covers a wide range of thoughts that come non-stop except the time you totally fall asleep. Of course, some of the thoughts are quite wholesome, but most of them are not. So, it is very important to be mindful of every thought so that your mind can be well guarded against the mental defilements. Thieves or robbers cannot attack a house if were protected by security guards. In the same way, if the mind is well guarded by mindfulness, it cannot be severely attacked by mental defilements. Mindfulness, known as the single guard, can be developed gradually, just like step-by-step lessons for a schoolboy. The boy has to start his lessons with alphabet A, B, C. It is impossible for him to read a passage right away on his first day of school. He has to work hard to remember what each and every alphabet looks like and how to draw them. And then he has to learn how alphabet get combined into one. Having thus learned step by step, he becomes capable of reading the whole sentence or paragraph without thinking about alphabet or spelling of words. In the same way, in the beginning, it would not be possible for you to be mindful of every phenomenon manifested. But later, you will become capable of doing so, that you will make gradual progress in the practice. In due course of time, we attain the first stage of enlightenment, Sotapatti Magga. And later, with more continuous mindfulness and stronger concentration, you will attain higher stages of enlightenment, namely Sakadagami Magga, Anagami Magga, and Arhata Magga. Thus, the development of mindfulness will be fully accomplished, and mental defilements can no longer find their way into your mind. That is the ultimate goal of the mindfulness. In fact, the mindfulness is the key to Buddha's overall teachings. Hence, just before he passed away, the Buddha summed up all his teachings
是
in his word as follows. Hereby now, monks, I tell you, the conditions are impermanent in nature, accomplished through the mindfulness. Parents on their deathbed are likely to speak their last word to advise their children to follow for the rest of their life. When I was a young novice, many people in our region were afflicted with plague, and some of them then came to stay in temporary tents built near our monastery. At that time, I myself overheard a man on his deathbed speak words of advice to his family members for the whole night until his death. The last words of a parent are normally impressed on children's memory for the whole life. Sometimes their memories are so vivid that they often see their parents in their mind's eye giving those words of advice. In the same way as a parent does, the Buddha spoke the last word out of great compassion before he passed away. Like the advice of parents on their deathbed, this last advice of the Buddha should remain fresh forever in our minds and put it into action. Hereby now, monks, I tell you, the conditions are impermanent in nature. The Buddha said, monks, I am now getting closer to the ultimate peacefulness, passing away, telling you my last word. His last word were all conditions, phenomena are impermanent in nature. These words of the Buddha are very important for us, but we may take them for granted. The Buddha emphasizes that all the conditions, phenomena are impermanent, implying that there is nothing lasting as we think. Normally, people think their minds are always the same and have been thinking since their childhood days. Similarly, they think it is the same physical body that gradually grows bigger from a child to an adult. Their bodies are, they believe, the same as always, representing who they are. By contrast, the Buddha declared that psychophysical phenomena that people elusively identify as I or mine are arising and vanishing at every moment, yet most of us feel as if we were the same individuals forever. So, all psychophysical phenomena come into existence when conditions are met, and they all disappear in nature immediately after arising. We can find nothing lasting or reliable in our minds and bodies. Reliable is only nirvana, which is diametrically opposite of all conditioned phenomena. That is what we are practicing for. How to practice in his last word. The Buddha describes it very briefly thus: accomplish through mindfulness. These were the last words of the Buddha. We should not ignore them at all, like what spoken by a parent on his or her deathbed. It is very important for all of us to recollect these words and put them into practice. The time is up. Enough for today.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.